And thanks for running the fast break with us. Chill Rob here, along with G Money. We call him G Money because he's an accountant. How you doing, G Money?
Busy. It's tax season. Everybody, remember to do your taxes.
Are you seeing less refunds like the IRS is saying so far, or what's the deal?
I'm seeing about the same. I don't know what everybody else is talking about. I think the tax
All right, no
plan
one
that
cares
Trump has
about that.
put.
All right. So moving on. All right, so back to the reason we're here. It is a new and perhaps the most exciting chapter of Jeremy's Lin career as long as I can remember. When I heard he was heading to the Raptors, all the memories just
What?
came flooding back. Just Mike Breen going bang.
Lin puts it up. Bang!
He goes from rotting away on the Hawks
The,
bench,
the,
getting inconsistent minutes, to maybe, all right, just bear with me here, to maybe getting playing time in the NBA Finals.
I think Milwaukee's going to make it to the NBA Finals. Secondly, Jeremy Lin's still going to be a backup to Kyle Lowry, so I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. And once I believe some of the other people are coming back, I mean, he's going to get less playing time.
This is the biggest opportunity he's had since he joined the Nets, and that was a disaster. But do you agree? This is the biggest, maybe this might be the most important next 5 weeks of his NBA career right now when Fred VanVleet is recovering.
Well, I mean, you can say that when he's just about on every team, right? He only has a couple of weeks to prove himself until the coach decides they don't like him anymore. They put him back on the bench where he belongs. But I guess you get a couple of weeks on a new team to acclimate yourself with everybody else. And I think Jeremy Lin has that opportunity.
So he's had one game with the Raptors, stuffed the stat sheet, 8 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, a block, a steal in 25 minutes. Clearly, he was a little bit nervous. He said so himself. He had a couple bad turnovers. One, when he wasn't aggressive going to the hoop, he tried to make a pass when he should have shot it, threw it away, traveled. He's still learning the plays. He said he only learned 3 plays after the first day, getting used to his teammates, the timing, where they like the ball. You saw some of the highlights of the first game. What'd you think of his performance?
Judging by the highlights, he did pretty well. He moved pretty well. His teammates got involved. Kyle Lowry seems to be, a willing passer. I saw a couple of passes from him to Jeremy Lin that for some nice highlights. So overall, he did what he was supposed to do. He did. I mean, the crowd loved him. I mean, everybody seems to like him over there. So I wish him all the best. I think he's going to have a pretty good success over there.
I like the fit. I mean, one of his greatest strengths is getting to the basket. I read this beautiful stat. Within 3 feet of the basket, Jeremy Lin finishes 62.4% of the time, which is considered pretty close to elite. Fred VanVleet, on the other hand, finishes within 3 feet 50.3% of the time. We're talking a 12% difference. Now, obviously, he's a better three-point shooter, more consistent than Jeremy Lin, but he's great at getting to the basket, pick and roll. I like the big men in Toronto. Ibaka, Gasol now off the bench, Siakam. These are guys who can finish around the rim. They've got good hands. They can also step outside, nail the outside jump shots. So the pick and roll game with them should be deadly. You got Kyle Lowry commanding attention. And all this time that he spent playing with, what we thought were ball hogs, whether it be Carmelo Anthony for a little bit, James Harden for a couple years, Kemba Walker for a couple years. He learned to play off the ball. Now he could play the one or the two, a combo guard of sorts, and that'll probably give him some extra playing time, even when some of these Raptors recover from their injuries.
You brought in Fred VanVleet because you think that you're comparing the two, but if I remember correctly, when he was with Houston, Patrick Beverley played over him. When he was with Los Angeles, Ronnie Price played over him. Those two players are not better than Jeremy Lin. Fred VanVleet, I know, is not better than Jeremy Lin, but for some reason, if the coach decides that Fred is the guy to go to, they're going to go to him. I think Jeremy Lin still just needs to play his game whenever he's out there. He just needs to contribute whenever he can. I mean, obviously, the good pick and rolls, he can play 2 positions, whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to rehash too much old history, but all I have to say to that is Kevin McHale,
you're fired.
Patrick Beverley, gone. Ronnie Price, long gone. Byron Scott,
you're fired.
I trust Coach Nurse knows what he's doing a little bit more. In terms of the city itself, I mean, this has to be I mean, Toronto's got a big Asian population. He's got something to play for. You know, he's a fierce competitor. He's had big playoff performances in the past, both with the Rockets and with the Hornets. Because this might not come again. I couldn't believe it. He's been in the league for 9 seasons already, which is just it's hard to wrap my mind around because it feels like insanity was just the other month. This opportunity might never present itself again.
Look, he's had opportunities everywhere he's went. All right, and something always happens. I don't know what it is, but hopefully he just needs to stick with one place for more than 3 years. How about that? Can he do that? Can he stick with one city for more than 3 years instead of bouncing around like a journeyman? And I mean, everybody wants him to succeed.
Why do you always gotta talk about him like that?
Because something always happens. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's not his fault. I don't think everything is his fault.
And I've been saying this ever since. All right, the New York Knicks are still looking for a future point guard. Ever since he left, they still can't find one. Maybe Dennis Smith.
They do have one now, Dennis Smith Jr., and then they had one in Frank Ntilikina.
Okay, yeah, we saw how that worked out. All right, in terms of what you think. What's your feel? I could kind of see it both ways. I could see him making himself so valuable this next 5 weeks that the Raptors say, we just got to give this guy 25, maybe even 28 minutes a game. Or, I could see it, it just doesn't quite fit in. They want to go with what they know. They're kind of loaded at the guard spot. OG, Lowry, Danny Green, Van Vliet when he comes back. Patrick McCaw's on the team now too. Norman Powell, like we just mentioned. The downside is if this next couple of weeks doesn't go according to plan, if he doesn't perform, doesn't get with the program, sadly, I could kind of see it even worse than Atlanta, where he just gets buried.
Sadly, I think that's the way it's going to go. Because
of course
that's the pattern. That's been the pattern, all right? I'm just saying that's been the pattern. So if you're going according to the pattern, that's what's going to happen. But, I mean, Toronto, I mean, they do have a good coaching staff. They do have some good players there. That can play off one another. It's going to be it's up to JLin whether and also Toronto whether they want to embrace him or not. So everywhere he's went, he's been in the same situation. Unfortunately, I don't see the situation being any different. Other than this team is probably one of the better teams he's been on. Right? I think Houston wasn't as successful as Toronto is now. The Houston team he's been on. So, I mean, this team seems to want each other to succeed. Hopefully, JLin could be a part of that.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a fun ride. We finally have. It's been so long, but we finally have something to look forward to. As much fun as Atlanta was, which was no fun at all. At least he left on good terms. I don't know if you saw a post from Trae Young saying basically, thanks for being the best mentor I could have ever hoped for. And Trae Young is doing better than I expected. So I'm going to say that's all due to JLin. I just got a feeling it's going to work out. He's going to win some. He's going to knock your Nets right out of the playoffs.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's for another video.
All right. That does it for us for now. Any JLin comments, put it on the section below. Of course, we'll come back with another video when something happens. Hopefully it's positive. Please, I don't want to do any more JLin season-ending injury and recovery videos. I'm done with that. Let's move on. Let's just pray for his health. Any final words before we go, G Money?
And the words of JLin, I mean, God is good.
All right, we'll see you next time on The Fast Break. Peace.